Hello students, I hope all of you are doing well in this lockdown 3.0, forcing us to keep us inside our home, and we shall continue our teaching and learning process in this time. So we have already given the instruction that we have to finish our syllabus by 31st of May via this online session. So we shall continue the process of teaching and learning, and today we are going to discuss about the computer graphics subject. Today we are going to discuss about the 3D transformation. We have already studied 2D transformation in our previous lectures. Now we are going to study about 3D transformation. So let's start. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the 3D transformation. Actually, if you didn't read the 2D transformation part, so please go watch my video about the 2D transformation operation, then come back to this video, because without the 2D transformation operation you won't be able to understand how 3D transformation works. So I'm going to basically skip a lot of content whenever I'm discussing about 3D transformation, because it already consists of so many common things from 2D transformation. Basically the operations are same as 2D transformation, just it is just one another plane will be added, and how things are going to change we will have to see in this lecture. So, like 2D transformation, 3D transformation also consists of this main transformation operation: translation, rotation, scaling, reflection, and shearing. Okay, so actually it is given in a rotational way, but it doesn't work like that. Any composition can happen among these five transformation. That means sometimes it may happen that rotation is happening first, then it is happening with translation, then again it can happen with scaling. So anything can happen for the transformation. There is no particular sequence which we need to maintain. The objective of 3D transformation is to understand basic conventions of object transformation in 3D. So whatever we are seeing in 2D, how it will look like in 3D. Obviously, whenever we are adding a plane, let's say that you are viewing ball bouncing up and down in a 2D plane, so you will be only able to see the foreground of that ball, whatever it is bouncing up and down. But whenever you are adding another plane in 3D, you will be able to see the depth of that ball, that how much area it is having, how much the density it is having. You can clearly see when the 3D transformation is happening, or 3D plane is added into your viewing. To understand transformations like reflection and shear, actually what happened in the previous 2D transformation lecture, we didn't manage to explore the reflection and shearing part properly, because there was nothing much to explore in 2D transformation. But in 3D transformation we'll be able to see how reflection and shearing comes into play and has a huge role to part in this huge role to play in this 3D transformation. And also we need to understand basic transformation of 3D as well as 2D. That means the rigid transformation of translation, rotation, and scaling. We need to understand what is happening in 3D, what is the change. So this is the basic information that what is happening in the during the 3D transformation, that fundamental part of the computer graphics and transformations are movement of object in the Cartesian plane. So whatever you are seeing in the screen is the 2D transformation. There is a home that is drawn, and you can see that there are two planes, one is X plane, another is Y plane. So this is, if it is having any transformation of rotation, scaling, or translation, then it is going to be called a 2D transformation. When there is another plane added in Z plane, then we can explore the 3D transformation part. Why do we need transformation? Transformation are used to position objects and shape object to change viewing points, and even how something is viewed. So you can see that in as I discussed in the previous lecture, that whenever you are talking about 2D transformation, you might be able to see the foreground of the ball, but whenever you are seeing in 3D, you will see that how much the shape of the ball is getting changed in terms of the total its total uh, uh, the total thing you will be able to view that whenever it is hitting the ground, how it is completely changing its shape totally, and how whenever it is going up, how it is retaining its shape. So the viewing experience will be better whenever we are seeing in 3D transformation. In simple words, transformation is used for modeling and viewing. When the transformation takes place on 3D plane, it is called 3D transformation. It is as simple as that, right? Uh, Methods for object modeling transformation in three dimensions are extended from 2D two-dimensional methods by including consideration for z coordinate. Actually, whenever we discuss the 2D transformation, we already had a homogeneous coordinate. So we had a bit of idea about the 3D transformation also. Instead of the homogeneous coordinate, now we are going to work on the z plane. But here also we are going to see that another homogeneous coordinate will be added. So whenever we are seeing the equations of 3D transformation, we are going to see that there is actually four plane that is working. So in 2D transformation, it was initially three. Initially there was there were two planes, but again we added another homogeneous coordinate to make it a third plane. 3D modeling transformation generalized from 2D by including z coordinate. As I said, homogeneous coordinates are added as the fourth component. Transformation matrices are 4 across 4 elements. So in 2D transformation, there was actually two planes, x and y plane. Another homogeneous coordinate was added as third component, and there it was 3 cross 3. Here it is now 4 cross 4. Straightforward for translation and scaling, but rotation takes a little bit of complexity, because you can see whenever we discuss the homogeneous coordinate and rotation in homogeneous coordinate, also there we have seen that things get changed whenever we are discussing about rotation towards x coordinate or y coordinate, and we only have sine theta and cos theta in our hand. So basically, whenever we are discussing about translation and scaling, let's take an example for translation. We are going to have tx, ty, tz, these three variables. For scaling, also we have sx, sy, sz. But for cos theta, for rotation, we are going to have only cos theta and sine theta. So we need to keep in mind that in which plane it is occurring, and the equations will be changed accordingly, and the transformation matrices will change accordingly. So 3D transformation, like 2D transformation, can be divided into two parts. One is rigid, another is non-rigid. Whatever you are seeing in the screen is simple transformation and complex transformation. It is actually this one is rigid and that one is non-rigid. Okay, so this is actually a rigid and this is non-rigid, you can say. Okay, so the shape may get changed in these cases, but shape won't get changed in these cases. Okay, so that is why it is rigid and non-rigid. So under rigid comes translation, rotation and scaling like 2D transformation. Under non-rigid, reflection, shearing, mapping, and many other operations are available. Whenever we are discussing a point in a 3D window, it is going to have three coordinates, that is x, y, z. And homogeneous, in case of homogeneous coordinate, it is going to be another coordinate will be added. So in whenever we are discussing 2D, there are x, y, and 1. Actually, it was h, x, y, and h, but it was x dashed, y dashed, and h is equals to x, y, and h. Into some transformation was there. So this is got crossed, and this was actually 1. Okay, so this is always 1. Whenever we are talking about 3D transformation, it is also 1. So you can see that here it is also. Okay, and this is how 3D coordinate system is going to work. You can think it like your right hand or left hand. For right hand, let's say this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and this is the z-axis. Okay, and also for left hand, you can say that this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and you can say that this is the z-axis. Okay, this is actually uh, one plane. Okay, and this is another plane, and this is another plane. So this is xz plane, this is yz plane, and this one is xy plane. So as I said that in homogeneous coordinate, if you add the homogeneous coordinate in 3D, everything else will remain same, but this last part is going to have this one value. So whenever it is a 4 cross 4, all of the rest of the values will be 0 0 0. In 2D transformation, we saw that this was let's say A, B, C, D, E, F, but here it was 0 0 1, right? Here we are going to have 0 0 0 1. Actually, it is following the formation of the identity matrix, or you can say it is following the upper triangular matrix. So first of all, let's talk about the 3D translation. So 3D translation is same as the 2D translation, only the Z plane is added. So whenever you are going to discuss the 3D translation, so ZZ dash is going to be uh, equals to TZ plus Z, where Z was the original position and TZ is the amount of translation that that happened on that particular point. Okay, that is translation. So everything else is remaining the same. X plus tx, y plus ty, and z plus tz. If you multiply this and calculate, you will see that whatever I have written is just the same thing. That's what it is written over here. You can see that this is the amount of translation happened towards the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, where parameter tx, ty, tz are specified as the translation distance for the coordinate direction. Okay, so if the translation is happening, you can see that it is happening towards the z-axis. You have to add this value z plus tz. Now, this is the interesting part in this lecture so far that we have discussed, rotation. So, as I have already discussed, that rotation is going to happen in particular axis wise. So, for x-axis, the rotation will be something. For y-axis, the rotation will be something. Okay. So, let's see how it is going to work. So, in case of 3D rotation, what is happening? In case of 3D rotation, you are going to have general rotation is specified by rotation axis and angle. In two dimension, there is only one choice of rotation axis that leaves points in the plane. But in 3D transformation, what is happening? We get three sets of these 2D coordinates. One is xz, another is yz, and lastly we are getting xy. So for xy coordinate, we already have got the equation. Now we have to see what is going to happen in yz and xz. So whenever the rotation is happening in yz coordinate, so the value that needs to be considered is the x is actually fixed over here, and whenever it is happening in xz coordinate, the value of y is remaining fixed. Okay, so let's see. So the easiest rotation axes are those that parallel to the coordinate axis. So if it is parallel to the coordinate axis, then the rotation is going to be as simple as that, because you just add the 90 degree on that equation and it is going to be as simple as that. Okay. Um, Positive rotation angles produce counterclockwise rotation about a coordinate axis, and if it is negative, it is rotating in clockwise. Okay, if we are looking along the positive half of the axis toward the coordinate origin. So if you are looking like this and the value of y is decreasing, that means it is happening clockwise, and if it is happening counterclockwise, and if it is if we are looking up, then it is happening the counterclockwise like this. Okay, so coordinate axis rotation obtain rotations around the axis through cyclic permutation of coordinate parameters. So uh, So whenever the coordinate rotation is happening, that means transformation of coordinate is happening. Also, we need to follow the same rule that whenever we are considering YZ plane, you have to keep in mind that X is fixed. Whenever it is happening in XY plane, and what is happening in XZ plane. Okay. So for Z axis rotation, this is going to be the case. So for the Z axis rotation is the same equation that we got in 2D rotation. Okay, so this is actually XY, it is happening in the XY plane, and the Z, and if the object is over here, and or the shape is around here, and it got rotated by some angle, and it is now here, so it is actually happening in the Z window. Okay, so now your X dash and Y dash will be accordingly changed. Okay, so this is what we already got in 2D transformation. If it is happening towards the x-axis rotation, then y and z coordinate are going to be fixed. Okay, so you can say that this is z coordinate, this is y coordinate. So it is going to be same as the previous one. And if it is happening towards the uh, y-axis, so the values of x and z will be changed. So in that case, what is going to happen? So this is how it is going to work. If it is x, the value of x and z will be changed as it is happening on this plane, so the value of y is actually getting rotated. That is why it is called the y-axis rotation. So y-axis is, let's say, that is somewhere around here. So whatever object is rotating from here to here, actually it is rotating around the y-axis. So that is why the y-axis rotation is happening. Scaling. So with the rotation part covered, I hope this is understood by everyone, because this was the most important part in the rigid transformation in 3D. Okay, now we are moving to the scaling, which is absolutely similar to the 2D scaling, just only SZ will be added. Okay, so you can see that whatever I have just said, that SZ will be added. It is as simple as the 2D scaling. So you just need to multiply 2Z into SZ, Y into SY, and X into SX. Okay, so that's how you are going to get the values whenever the scaling is happening. And scaling actually happens at about any fixed point, so there is nothing much to discuss over here. So we have also discussed this. So whenever about any fixed point it is happening, we need to consider these values. Okay, 1 minus sx, 1 minus sy, 1 minus sz. So this is actually one kind of you can say that translation and scaling, a combination of that. So the amount of translation that has happened is xf, yf, zf. Okay, and the scaling happened is a6, sy, and sz. So what you are going to get? 1 minus a6, 1 minus sy, 1 minus sz, and multiplied with these things. I hope it is clear to everyone. So this is already done. Now for reflection, we have seen that you just negate that value around which the reflection is happening. So for this case also, we are going to see the same outcome. For 3D reflection also, we'll see that is the same thing is going to happen. So whenever a reflection happening, this you can see that this particular object got a reflection of here, this one got a reflection of here. So actually what is happening, if this was the x-axis, this is the minus x part. Okay, so these are the minus x, and my and this is value is decreasing. Okay, Sorry, minus x is around this part. This is actually minus y part. So y values are actually gradually increasing over here, and here it is gradually decreasing. So we put a minus 1, multiply it by minus 1. And you can see that the reflection value are going to be like this. So whenever reflection is happening about the y-axis, so the value of x is going to remain same, but the value of y and z is going to be different, same as the rotation one. So in that case, y will be minus y and z will be minus z. Okay, and whenever it is happening towards the y-axis, x and z value will be negated. So this is minus 1, this is also minus 1. And for x-axis also, the outcome will be same. For shearing, a transformation that distorts the shape of an object such that transformed shape appears as if the object was composed of internal layers that had been caused by slide over each other's side is called a shearing. So what we discussed already. So if this is one object is caved and suddenly it looks like this, okay, so we'll see that shearing has happened. So what actually happened? These points actually made a translation to here and here. Okay, so now it looks like this. That is why now it looks like this. These 2 points didn't change, but these 2 points did change. So this is the example of 2D sharing that we have already discussed. We have also added a plane over here in Z plane. So for 3D sharing, what is going to happen? We have already seen that the value of the coordinates is changing towards a particular axis. So whenever we had this change from here to here, actually what changed? The values of the x changed. Okay, but the values over here were actually the same. Okay, and these actually didn't change and these didn't change. So the translation happened is for these 2 points only towards the x-axis, and if it happens towards the y or z axis also it may happen, also it may cause shearing. So in this case, this is how it is going to look. So for z or axis also the same is going. So this is an interesting part, that what is going to happen if shearing is happening towards the xy axis. So the basic concept is you have to uh, you have to make a composite of those two planes. Okay, so in those cases, let's say that there are some values that a and b is the amount of shearing that has happened. So in that case, the transformation matrix is going to look like this. So actually, what happened is the shearing has happened towards the z-axis, and the value that has changed is for the x and y towards the z-axis. So in that case, it is going to look like this, the transformation matrix. So whenever it is happening towards the xz and yz plane, what is actually happening? Uh, Nothing much. Only the change is whenever it is happening towards the xz plane, the change will be in the y plane. Whenever it is happening towards the yz plane, the change will happen towards the x plane. So that is how it is going to work. So I hope it was clear to everyone. That concludes the uh, 3D transformation part. Next, we are going to look at the viewport transformation and 3D viewport transformation, viewport clipping, reflection, such topics to end our module tomorrow. And from, let's say, Thursday or Friday, we are going to start the last module of our syllabus in computer graphics. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe, stay at home. Catch you in the next one. Bye.